He gave her everything, not with grand gestures, but in the quiet, everyday sacrifices that often go unnoticed. It was in the way he remembered her favorite song, or how he listened to her stories even when he was tired. His love was woven into the smallest details of their days together. He offered her the last bite, his warmth on cold nights, and the silent hours he once kept for himself. He gave up his comfort so she could feel safe, and let go of his solitude so she would never feel alone. He handed her his dreams, trusting she'd hold them gently and made her happiness his own. Every hope he had, he placed in her hands, believing she would cherish them as much as he did. She became the sun in his universe, pulling him off his safe path into her world of color. Her laughter lit up his days, and her presence made him believe in magic again. He worked extra shifts, gave what little money he had, believing love meant giving without expectation. He thought that if he just gave enough, it would be enough to keep them both happy. But love, he would learn, is a currency, and he was spending himself into bankruptcy. The more he gave, the more he felt himself slipping away, unnoticed and unappreciated. He thought he was building a future together, but his dreams faded behind hers. The plans he once held close slowly disappeared, replaced by her desires and ambitions. Sometimes giving everything leaves you with nothing. In the end, he realized that love should be shared, not surrendered, and that holding on to yourself is just as important as holding on to someone else. He lived in quiet routine, content in solitude, his days marked by gentle repetition and the comfort of predictability. He found peace in the silence, never expecting anything to disrupt his carefully ordered world, until she crashed into his life like a sudden, unstoppable storm. She was wild, impulsive and vibrant, everything he was not. Her laughter filled rooms, her energy was contagious, and she seemed to exist in a world painted with colors he'd never dared to imagine. Drawn to her chaos, he followed her into crowded bars, spontaneous road trips, and a life without safety nets. He let her lead him into adventures he never would have chosen for himself, swept up in her whirlwind. He mistook her recklessness for freedom, her passion for love. Every wild moment felt like a promise, every risk like a declaration of something deeper. He didn't see his world being consumed by hers, or how he was losing himself in her orbit. The lines between their lives blurred, his own colors fading as hers grew brighter. He became a shadow, grateful for her light, never questioning the darkness it left behind. He clung to the warmth she offered, blind to the parts of himself that were slowly vanishing. He called it love, not realizing he was disappearing. He mistook his own fading for devotion, believing that losing himself was the price of being close to her. Their worlds didn't merge, his was simply eclipsed. Her brilliance cast a shadow over everything he once was, leaving him smaller, quieter, almost invisible. In chasing her, he lost his own center of gravity, drifting further from himself with every step he took toward her. His love became obsession, a fever he mistook for devotion. Friends tried to anchor him, warning of her inconsistencies, but he defended her fiercely. He gave up hobbies, friends, and space, shrinking his world to just her. He was always there, picking her up, lending money, holding her through storms. He built a bridge with his own soul, hoping she'd cross to stability. But she never intended to. She was content to take what he gave. He believed love meant sacrifice, never seeing he was being empty. Sometimes giving all you have leaves you hollow. The end came quietly, a message left unread, calls unanswered, a silence louder than any fight. There was no dramatic confrontation, no final words to mark the moment, just a slow creeping emptiness that settled in, making the absence feel even heavier. He found out through a photo, her, smiling with someone new, captioned, "On to new adventures." The image stung, a reminder that her world kept spinning while his had come to a sudden halt. She erased him completely, blocked, deleted, as if he'd never existed. Every trace of their story vanished with a few taps, leaving him stranded in a digital void. No explanation, no goodbye, just absence. The space she left behind was filled with questions that would never be answered. He stood in the ruins of their world, haunted by memories and questions. Every object, every memory seemed to echo with what was lost. Was any of it real, or was he just a stepping stone? Doubt gnawed at him, making him question every moment they'd shared. Shame and heartbreak consumed him. He'd built his identity around loving her. Now that foundation had crumbled, leaving him adrift and uncertain of who he was without her. Now he was lost, a hollow echo of a love that may never have existed. The emptiness stretched on, a reminder of how fragile hope can be. Sometimes the cruelest endings are the quietest. They leave no scars, only invisible wounds that ache in the silence of the night. He was left with nothing but the ache of what was never truly his, and the lingering hope that maybe, someday, he would find closure in the quiet. Grief blurred the weeks. He moved through life as a ghost, every reminder a fresh wound. But time, relentless, pulled him forward. The pain dulled, and he began to reclaim himself. Books, friends, small joys. He filled the silence with his own presence, rebuilding from the rubble. He poured energy into himself, grew stronger, and reconnected with those he'd lost. He learned love shouldn't require self-immolation. His worth wasn't defined by someone else's gaze. The boy who gave everything was gone. In his place stood a wiser, more compassionate man. The cracks remained, but he filled them with gold. He was no longer broken, he was forged. Years passed. He became someone new, confident, loved, whole. He saw her again unchanged, still chasing storms. Their eyes met, a flicker of recognition, a silent goodbye. He felt no anger, no need to prove himself, just gratitude for the pain that shaped him. She was his hardest lesson, and he was better for it. He no longer loved or hated her, he was free. Some people are lessons, not forevers. He walked away, finally and completely, into his own clear sky. Subscribe to Mind Vault, like and comment.